Okay. All right.
All right. I love how many different screens we have here, just in case anyone didn't get the
Okay.
resolution tab.
We can turn off a couple if you want, if there's too much.
No, maybe just this one.
You want to turn that one off?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one is nice because I can have two different screens.
Okay. You know,
All right. That's awesome.
it's going to be I think it's going to be complicated. I don't want to mess it up too much.
Right. Yeah. Just in case. Yeah. No worries.
I thought it was just as simple as pushing a button, but
Oh, really?
Clearly
Yeah.
it was.
There's no like.
No. It's
Nah.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's not that big of a deal. Yeah.
It will actually kind of complement as well a little bit.
Right.
So.
History.
If you guys want something to drink, I've got water, I've got Sprite, I've got Sunkist, and I've got one iced tea that's cold. Water? Okay.
Okay.
For a very brief stint in my career, I did keynote speaking.
Oh yeah.
So I did
I wish I had some milk because that would help too. But like,
school districts
Yeah.
get together, like 200 people in the room,
Yeah.
and it was like 110 degrees in the room.
No way.
oh,
I don't think
help
anybody
yourself.
was happy to hear from me.
Please, by all
No.
means.
Least of all me, really.
I would not want to be there.
Like, oh, let me give you an inspirational talk now.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's like a Sherry Temple,
All right.
otherwise known as a kitty cocktail.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The only brand that have to have otherwise,
Fawn, does Ben Hoppy know about this?
Okay. Did you want something to drink?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You want a water?
Yeah. Water is actually that's the one thing.
That one's warm and that one's cold.
Ooh.
There's a cold one right next to you.
Yeah. That's the one. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do a quick intro and then.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm ready whenever.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. I'll wait for him to sit
Yeah.
down and. Well, guys, thank you for coming to the July Mad AI IEEE event. I appreciate it. My name is Christopher Harrison. I'm the chair of the Computer Society for the Madison chapter of IEEE, as well as the founder of Mad AI, which is a group that's been going on for actually, this is officially 3 years now. So we've had 3 years of Mad AI, which is a community of engineers, by engineers, for engineers, talking about different aspects of artificial intelligence, how it's implemented, how we are using it in our daily lives, and then how to do design and system builds and development with it. So if you're interested, please consider joining either IEEE and or Mad AI. If you're already a member, thank you. With that said, I just want to say thank you for being here. We're excited to have a great presentation by Jazz. Looking forward to understanding a little bit more about the founder's mindset and utilizing artificial intelligence. And I got a chance to meet Jazz. We've probably known each other for 6 months or so.
Right. Yeah.
And it just really understood what he's looking at, and he's a fellow founder. So we kind of hit it off, and I was excited for him to come and give a presentation. So when I asked him, he said yes, and here he is. So without further ado, I would like to introduce. Thanks,
Thank you
Jazz.
so much. Yeah. Thanks, Christopher. Appreciate it. Hey, guys. Jazz Valmiki, and my startup is called Full Stack Human. And I thought about like what the presentation should be for today, and I realized that it could be a wide variety of backgrounds, given that I told my friends, about this, and knowing my friends, like you might not have like the hardcore technical background, but the slides here are ready for that, just in case somebody pops in and they're like hardcore tech and they're like asking me questions about that. So you might see a few things like that in here, just a heads up. But what the idea with this talk is what kind of mindset you want to have as you deal with AI in this world, especially if you have a business, you're starting a business, or you already have a business. Thanks. If you have a business, and how do you look at what's going on? What tools are available? How do you pick and choose these tools? And what can you do with your work, with your business, So we're going way beyond the chatbot, If you have gone to ChatGPT, that was like 3 years ago. That's like forever ago in the AI industry. So that's what we're going to play with in this talk. And so by the end of this talk, my goal is that you have some accurate sense of what's going on in the industry, have some vocabulary for all the different technologies that are there, and have a sense of what kind of decisions you can make with AI industry right now, where it's at, right? Feel free to ask questions at any point. I might, at some point in the interest of time, just keep going on, depending on how much we have left. But that's what we're going to play with here today. Cool. So here's the reality with AI right now. It does more than it's ever done. It's getting better. Today is the worst it's ever going to be between now and the future, right? And things feel even more hectic regardless of how good AI is getting. So this is an issue for a lot of people. I work with developers, I work with coders, founders, and they have more work now, not less, because of AI. And you would have thought that because of AI, you would have less work, right? So what's going on? Yeah, that's what we're looking at here. All right, so keep this in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is this idea of self-regulation. By the way, Claude, my AI agent, generated this slide deck. It kind of gets me, but has its own mind. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes I will express a little bit of annoyance here and there with the product it's generating, and it's part of the show. Yeah. So for example, it knows that I like less words, not more. So sometimes it'll compress things too much. For example, self-regulation would be more relevant here than regulation, which makes one think of like industry regulations and like rules, right? That's not what it is. So one of the things we have noticed is that as you use AI more directly, this is one of the ways you can use AI, there's a lot of impact that can happen on your psyche. So this is where it's a good idea to, hello, come on in, join us. Yep. So having some sort of self-regulation, having a system so you don't get carried away with AI is very important, right? And having the right mindset is also very important here, okay? All right. So this is just me talking. You know, I could have just said it, but then I typed it so that I could read what I wrote, which is, if you keep learning AI foundations, right? So a lot of people are like, I want to learn all the latest AI tools. The problem is that in 6 months you might have to do it all over again because it's changing really, really fast. But if you have some sort of a way of anchoring in something else beyond just the tools, you might actually win in 2027, 2028. So that's what we're thinking about, not about like 3 weeks from now, even though that's important. So how do you do that, right? That's my company, Full Stack Human, training and consulting around that. Like, how do you have the right mindset to win in this new paradigm, which is shifting things? So what that means is in 6 to 18 months, all the tools we're going to talk about here, the names you'll see, the pricing, anything you see here is probably going to be irrelevant or inaccurate or stale. Just keep that in mind. I just did a talk in Boston with executives from a pharma company, and they were all excited about Claude Code and everything. I'm like, you realize like this industry is changing so hard and fast. You might not have Claude Code in 6 months or 12 months, who knows, right? That's an extreme, but still, like there's always a chance. So the tools change, but having the right mindset is what's going to get you far here. It's kind of like, you know, it sounds kind of cliche or a little out there, maybe not for this crowd, because I know many of you here, you're not hardcore techies, but for hardcore techies, when you tell them that the best win you can do right now with AI is actually figure out your life, it doesn't compute. You know, it doesn't compute. And the issue is that if you spend time and energy on the best tools and getting technical, and given that in 6 months it might be irrelevant, that's not a winning strategy, right? So that's something you want to keep in mind. So with that, I've seen there are 2 gaps in the industry, and this is where AI comes in. So this first gap is between wanting something and being able to build or get it, right? Let's say you want something and you get it. This is where AI comes in, right? If you really know what you want, AI can make it happen because you have the right tools. But the second gap that the industry is noticing is of purpose, which is between what you think you want and what actually you want or what satisfies you, or you just don't know what you want, right? So this is where people start lagging, because after a while, you're just creating AI slop because you don't know what you want. So you're just creating things that you don't want. You might not know, right? So all of this is just kind of like a holistic way of, you know, looking at this world, right? Looking at this fast changing world. So AI is changing and closing this capacity gap. You can do more things faster and faster. But if you don't know what matters, well, that's going to suck, right? And this is a big thing that there's research behind it. They call it the desire gap, and that's a big one. People don't know what they want. There's a lot of conditioning on just following rules, which is great, but you have a very powerful tool, and you're using a Ferrari to go next block, right? And so that's how AI is being used. So that's an issue too. Okay. So given all of this, you know, some of the industry leaders are predicting, and it's already kind of coming true, is this idea of taste. Taste will become even more important. Your discernment on what you want. In fact, Paul Graham, he's pretty big, yeah. He was talking about how having the right taste, knowing what you want, talking about being able to actually express what you want in the right way will make the difference between you creating a winning product or a winning company versus not? Do you have the vision for it or not? Yeah.
Who's Paul Graham?
Paul Graham, let me show you actually. Paul Graham on X is an amazing guy. He is I want to show you the quote. He's a founder, he's a VC, big in Silicon Valley. A lot of people listen to him. So, but what I want to show you is the actual quote about Paul Graham, if I can find it. There we go. So this guy is a Y Combinator higher up. And he is spending a ton of money, billionaire, spending billions of dollars, investing in all the AI companies right now. And he has like his finger on the pulse. Him and Elon Musk don't see eye to eye sometimes, which is interesting in terms of like how the world needs to go and stuff, but that's another topic for another day. So he's talking about a lot of ideas for like how to do startups, how to think about AI. Highly recommended you follow them down the road when you get a chance. Okay, thanks for that question. You might see sometimes if you ask me a question, I have an AI here that's running that will answer it for me just in case I forgot. So okay, so judgment is big deal, and this is what the industry is saying. Like, do you have proper judgment? Andrej Karpathy, he was one of the co-founders of OpenAI. Tesla, full self-driving car guy, he was like the one responsible for it. And they're all talking about judgment and taste are becoming more and more important. And they're sounding like philosophers now rather than technical nerds, right? So that's where the industry is headed. So this is like the judgment thing that they're calling out. My prediction is down the road it's going to become a purpose thing. Like if you don't have a purpose, you can't really judge against, like you don't have an anchor to measure your judgments against. So that's going to become a problem too. And this is like a big deal, I think, in our society right now. And there's data to back this up. Ask me after the talk, and I can actually point you to the right data that is showing this. Okay, so that is like the frame that we're gonna keep in mind as we look at where AI is, just to kind of give you a sense of how AI is changing, the industry is changing, the tools are changing. So roughly 4 phases of AI have happened. And so the big one I would say is that everyone's familiar with is the chatbot phase, right? You type a question and you get the answer, right? And so this is 2022-ish, 2021, 2022. Yeah, but then we went further, right? In the industry, you can actually, people started embedding AI chatbots everywhere. You go to Amazon, there's an AI chatbot. It was not exactly super amazing at first. There was just a chatbot everywhere, like there's something AI enabled. People would just add the phrase AI, and somehow that's like interesting. So that was the embedded assistant. That was the, they will potentially help you a little bit. You could ask them questions still. So it's still chatbot-ish, but inside an app. Then came the interesting one, which is agents. Now this one is where you have some sort of an idea of what you want done, and an AI agent can do it for you, right? For example, hey, go ahead and research what's going on in the world of AI and psychosis. People get into AI psychosis bubbles, right? And then create me 4 slides around that. That's an agent doing things for me, right? There's a lot of different agents. We'll talk about what an agent is versus an AI model is in a second, but that was like the 3rd phase. Right now, we've gone even further, in the industry, you have this concept of ambient agents. They're always running in the background. So for example, some of you maybe have heard of OpenClaw or Hermes agents, and they're just constantly running. I have one running on my home server, and I can talk to it using Telegram app from my phone. It has access to all of my information, and it can, answer questions based on what I have for my work and my research, right? Or an ambient agent can actually proactively message you something before it happens, right? So that's something, the ambient agent world. So this is where we are. No matter where you are, I have to say, like, even if you're in the chatbot phase, you're still like really, really early. There's a majority of the world is still not using even the free version of chatgpt.com, right? So we're still like, if you're using embedded assistants or agents, you're in the top 0.5% right now of the entire population. There's memes for that, there's data for that as well. And this is super new. Very few people are using it. It's not clear how to use it yet, so it's a shifting world here. Okay. So, let me just do this, yeah. There are products. How many of you have used Microsoft Word or heard of Copilot? Anyone heard of Copilot here? So that Copilot, they overuse that term. They kind of just used it so much that people hate it in some ways. It's used in so many different ways. It started as a very basic chat interface. Then it became like Copilot was everywhere. There was like a little chat box inside Windows in Microsoft Office. And then it became an agent that lets you write applications and code, and it can run in the cloud. So the same product is going through different phases. Expect that to happen for Claude. Same thing with ChatGPT, was a chat box. 2 days ago, they released ChatGPT Work, which is an app that can actually do computer work for you, right? So if you want to like fill out a spreadsheet or deal with a very annoying website to fill out forms and taxes, it can just control your mouse and keyboard, and you can just watch it do everything, right? So that's where the same product name is headed, right? So expect the one name, one product trademark to be many different things. Okay, so there are a lot of different topics that we can get into, and depending on the audience, I would actually change directions here. And knowing some of you and your backgrounds already, what I want to talk about is, what exactly is AI? Like, what are the different components in the building blocks? So when we say ChatGPT, really behind the scenes, there's a large language model. It's a model. It's an AI model that's running somewhere in the data center, and you put text in, you get text out. That's the idea with a model. That model, whether it's Claude's Opus 4.8 or Fable 5, some of you have heard of Fable 5. Anyone? Hand raise if you have. Yeah. So Fable 5, Opus 4.8, GPT 5 dot whatever, Grok 4.5. These are all models. Their job is text in, text out for the most part, right? They can do a few extra things, but that's the whole thing. Where the magic starts happening is if you take a model and you put it inside another program called a harness. This harness is where what you get is the ability for the model to not only do text stuff, but figure out what tools or programs to call and do things. So for example, call an API, or run a program locally on your machine, et cetera, et cetera. So Claude Code, OpenAI Codex, Claude Cowork, the app, GPT, ChatGPT Work, they're all kind of harnesses, okay? They're all apps that are just kind of like adding all these bells and whistles and capabilities around a basic model that is smart, right? A lot of money goes into building these models. but then this is where all the magic stuff happens, I think. Okay? So when people say the word agent, they're talking about roughly model and harness, right? Hey, I have an agent running somewhere in the background. Like, for example, let me just show this to you really quick. I just, don't be scared with this one. This is just, let me see if I can do this. Can I?
What are you using?
I'm using, I use multiple agents. So like this is my Claude code agent that is basically running right now. It's just waiting for me to ask it a question. And it knows all of the context of all the talk stuff, that the preparation for this talk, my company's offerings, all the research over multiple days. There's thousands of documents, and it's all kind of like, it's all set up in a way which is its own skill, it's its own art and craft, so that I can ask it, you know, who is Paul Graham? Yeah, hold on one sec. Right, so I could say who, and how does, actually I could say, he relate to this talk? Right, so, yeah, go ahead. Well,
Sorry, I was getting excited.
Yeah.
So you're storing, when you say context, you mean you're storing this all in files, not in individual context window? Or?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that actually. So Paul Graham, blah, 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 Y Combinator, right, co-founded startup. In your talk, he's in the vision module, which is where he was earlier, right? His Feb 26 prediction that taste becomes more important than in the AI age. When anyone can make anything, the big differentiator is what you choose to make, right? That's where he's looking at, right? So anyway, so this little thing, which looks kind of cryptic and everything, yes, it is cryptic, but I can ask it anything right now regarding my talk. It knows everything. It knows a lot about me too. So if I panic right now and I'm like, oh crap, like I don't know what to do, what do I say? There's very little time left and I'm on slide number 4. What are the important things I should cover in the next 5 minutes? It will know that, right? So it's an agent that's running in some ways right here on my other screen and making all of that good stuff happen. Plus it's integrated with my Gmail, it's integrated with you know, it's aware of the meetup site where this event is posted. All of this is happening through these integrations. So it's very capable. Now, to your question, Bryce, you're like, okay, well, how does it know that? Where is all of this stored, right? So, you know, the thing that makes all of this work is you still need engineering if you're really getting into the AI world. First of all, many of you might have heard of prompt engineering, right? Like when you prompt, like there are ways to prompt to get what you want versus there's ways to prompt where you'll be taken for a ride and given false information, etc. Prompt engineering. This was 2022. Context engineering was exactly what Bryce was asking about, is like, well, how did you set it up so it knows the right things? Context engineering. Harness engineering is, you know, basically what I did here so I can actually have the right context in the right place with the right setup and it works. Harness engineering, right? The 3 things that are important, right? There's a lot of work opportunities right here for people. I was in Memphis 2 weeks ago and I did a 3-week boot camp for FedEx technical teams and basically gave them certificates at the end saying they're forward deployed engineers. That's like a very fancy, trendy phrase that's used everywhere, like, oh yeah, I'm an FDE. Well, yeah, everyone's an FDE these days. But the idea is these people can do all of these things. They are aware of what the company needs and they can think of solutions, right? And implement them or suggest it to the right people and bring the company along into the AI world, right? That's kind of like the idea here. Okay. Are we good? Yeah? Okay. So there will be slides that I will skip, just so you know, because I am navigating based on, yeah.
So
How does one do any of these?
Yeah, how do you engineer a good prompt?
Mm-hmm.
How you engineer the prompt? I mean, I use it a lot. I'm often not that impressed, so I'm guessing it's something to do with my prompt engineering.
Potentially. Are you using mainly the chat interface?
I use a bunch,
Yeah.
and I'm not impressed. Probably because I'm a writer,
Mm-hmm.
and so I want it to be amazing.
Yeah.
But even when I give it the role of a person who's an amazing copywriter,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a business, I wouldn't even be my own customer with what the output
Yeah.
that gives me. And I'd love to know how to integrate it because it doesn't seem to understand the platform School, SKOOL, which is a major platform.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even spell it properly.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I had 5 things today, and I was using Fable.
Mm-hmm.
And at 5
Fable is especially bad at this, is what I've
Okay,
noticed.
well,
Yeah.
I also don't know,
Yeah.
like, where's the practical application, or maybe you'll get to that. But
Yeah.
like, I find it bills itself as a time saver.
So to that point, I spent a month in April with Opus, and I feel Fable is a more extreme version of Opus in some ways. It's amazing, it's intelligent, but the downside is that its output has what I can only speak of, and I've done research on this. I'll show this to you since you mentioned this. But the output from Fable, if a human has to read it, will cause cognitive fatigue and fragmentation really quick. It's how it is. There are
Ask it its job, like, why are you so great? Why
Yeah.
is Claude giving a free promo? It tells me it's a copywriter.
Yeah. That doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, if I cannot even believe what it tells me it is,
Yes.
then what are we to do here? Like, where?
Right.
I guess I want to know, like, my inroad into this, because
Yeah.
right now I don't know where everyone else is at with it, but right now I feel oversold on many a day.
100%.
And it makes
Yeah.
mistakes. Gemini makes mistakes constantly. Doesn't
Yes.
matter if I say source responses only.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I say don't make stuff up.
Yeah.
And then it gives me platitudes in my bads.
Yes.
Like,
And that can cause its own AI psychosis for people who are not aware, which you seem to be. Yeah. So what I will say is this. So what I'll say is this. What's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. So
I'm just a solo entrepreneur
yeah.
with a real banger of an idea.
Yeah.
But I want this to help me, and right now it's
Yeah.
me, and I'm a fairly intelligent person.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are hitting on the sore spot in the AI industry in terms of output. A lot of them are really optimized for writing code. So like creating apps, creating programs. When it comes to doing English is where it's like there's a huge gap right now in the industry. So regardless of what they say. In terms of prompt engineering, context engineering, and harness engineering, this is the stuff that would take like, so I teach how to write AI agent workflow, workflows that work for you kind of courses. Yes?
I'm just going to jump in here.
Yeah.
In August, we are having a hackathon. It's going to be focused on
right.
coding, but this is going to be an aspect of it as well. So please, I'll make an announcement further on.
Yeah.
But in the context of this talk, this is a little bit off topic, but we'll address that. And please come to this group more often, because we get into some of the details of this as well.
Awesome.
And-
I appreciate what I'm learning. I mean,
Yeah.
You're just validating.
No, that's what I want to say. It's super valid, and you're on point. The crucial thing is the frustration you're having right now means that you are the gate, right? In terms of all of this AI slop comes your way, and then you're dealing with this, right? Because the product is not there in terms of how they talk about prompt engineering. I'm creating and running half-day workshops in August here on how to deal with this. So I'll mention this at the very end. There's going to be a QR code, and you can sign up for so you'll know exactly when the dates are there for that. So that's going to be prompt engineering, context engineering. And so if you hold on that one, let's see where companies are, because a lot of little startups and businesses are like, how the heck do I use AI, right? Like, and there's a lot of problems with it. So I could spend like a week going over the details of break down exactly how that happens. But in the workshop, we're going to go into like, how do you actually write the rules, the skills, the setups, so that even if it's creating slop, you have the skills that will then unslop it, which is what I have to do. These slides had to go through that like 4 times. Fable is really bad. It compresses things, so you hear these fancy sounding phrases, which then I'm like, wait, I don't even know what you're talking about. GPT 5.6 Soul that just came out is better at this. So I had Fable think of the big picture, because it's really good at thinking the big picture, and then Codex be the sub-agent that goes ahead and does the work and produces the output that the human reads. So there's no cognitive load on me, because there was a lot of cognitive load. You should see my conversation history with these agents, yeah.
I just hear so many people saying how amazing it is.
Yes, and it's a matter of like education here. So yes, let's stay in touch, and I think you should totally attend the workshop, because that will be helpful. Okay. So small business adoption recently, we think a lot of people are adopting AI, but truly AI adoption is still super low in small businesses right now, based on the latest data. Okay. If you believe Anthropic and OpenAI, they'll say that everyone's using it and it's doing amazing work. But these are like vendor surveys. That's their own data. If you see the government-approved data, it's a whole different ballgame there. Okay. So it's still early. The default assumption for a lot of people when they come to talks like this is that everyone's further along and I'm the one that's kind of like stuck in this mess. That is not true. This is early days, and that's just to kind of put this in perspective. Okay. So here's another thought. Because if you truly believe Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, and the likes, and the thing is that they're like, well, put AI everywhere, use it for everything. What they're finding is that is not how businesses are truly benefiting from it. So what's really happening is if AI can just disappear in the background and do work for you so that you have more profit margins because you're spending less time on some of the tedious stuff or the labor stuff that would just take a lot of time and effort and money, that can actually be sped up and made smaller and more efficient with AI. So for a lot of businesses, that's what we're seeing, is that that's where the biggest gains are, rather than just making it everything AI first. Yeah. So that's kind of like the idea there. So I'll give you some examples. So this is real anecdotal examples, but these things really happen. Like a bakery has 2 locations, is throwing away a lot of unsold products because they're guessing how much they have to bake, at the beginning of the day or the week or whatever, right? Demand forecasting before AI was a whole another deal. That's not in the scope of a small business to figure out using the craziest tools on how to do demand forecasting. But you plug in AI with the right skills in there, it can actually do that for you easily, right? So now you know, and you save money, right? So this is a very simple example of that. A property manager. The first response that needs to be sent out to the customers that are sending emails to him, right? It took 6 hours to get the first response to their clients. Now the AI can actually deal with that for you, right? So a lot of these solutions that we're seeing are actually fairly simple, but make life easier, okay? Any leads that come into a law firm would take days can take, just 15 minutes or 20 minutes, because AI is really good at knowing all of the details of all the laws in a country or a state or a city, and then basically figure out if this is the right kind of client for me or not, right? Really quickly. So in fact, you can have AI agents now, so that when you call that law firm, it's an actual AI agent that's talking to you. It's getting so good now that you can't tell that it's an AI agent anymore. It's very, very seamless now. And so again, this is where it's a great use case to actually plug in AI. So that's the idea. Okay. This is another one, right? If you already have a mess of a business process or a workflow in your business, AI is just going to make it messier. It's just going to amplify whatever you have. So that's the problem. And so one of the crucial things to do when you're introducing any kind of AI into your workflow is you need to know how your business works in the first place. If you don't know how your business works and you just drop in some AI in there and tell it to figure it out, it's just going to create things that you don't know and just make the mess more amplified. So that's a huge, huge problem. Another issue that we're seeing is AI output keeps getting faster and more impressive, double quotes there, but your capacity to deal with the output is still human, right? So you can have it create a lot of things, but then you have to review it, right? If it's creating 30 different documents, you have to review it to know if it's on point or not. Right. So this is like that second gap. A lot of AI technologies are out there, but like with small businesses, the problem is they can't deal with the onslaught of what AI can do. That's kind of crazy, right? Another thing we discovered around this is that you know what private equity is. These are like private companies that are buying things and they try to maximize how much money they can make from it. What they're doing these days are buying small businesses because they see, okay, this business has very little margin of profit. It barely ekes by. But they realize if we introduced AI in the right way in the workflow, it's suddenly going to make a lot of money. So these not so profitable small businesses are being acquired by big PE firms. Which indicates that actually, if you have a small business, there's a chance you can use AI the right way in your workflow to just start making money right now. So that's going to be another workshop that we're going to be doing is, and consulting around this. So somewhere in here, my agent's like, hey, pitch your consulting. Someone with enough knowledge of AI needs to go into your business and look at your workflow and understand how it works, and then plug in and decide like where you can actually bring in the AI, right? So that's something that is crucial right now. Yeah, and that's where Full Stack Human, my company, comes in, because that's the education and consulting that we do. Okay. How many of you are afraid of AI taking all the jobs away? Anyone here? Yeah, sorta, yeah.
Mixed emotions, it's not just
Mixed emotions.
some pleasure.
Some pleasure.
The idea of not working isn't the worst, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the data is showing that companies that are adopting AI are actually hiring right now more. They're growing faster than companies that are avoiding it altogether.
I'll slide on my resume with you.
Yeah. It's interesting is that that's the data, right? This is kind of counter to what you might think might happen. Like a company takes starts using AI, fires everyone. That's not what's happening. So this is for small to medium businesses. We do hear in the news, 4,500 laid off there and 600 laid off there. But the majority of businesses are actually hiring more right now. The one place where things are kind of downward is if you are just out of college and you have very little like experience. That's the kind of stuff that is being automated by AI, and that's where the job market's kind of like in the weeds, and it's going further down, but not by a lot, right? And what I would say to this is, overall, the number of jobs in the industry are increasing. However, the job definitions are changing. So there's a lot of companies with just waiting for employees that know how to do things like context engineering, harness engineering, intent engineering, like, and know what the models are and what are the downsides, you know, and how to use it to actually help your company, right? So that's a big thing. Okay. All right. So let's see. Do I want to talk about this? No. I want to talk about this one. Here's where we are, and this is a tough one for me to say. But the tools in the AI world used to be the bottleneck. Right now, and definitely by next year, we the humans who are actually using these tools will become the bottleneck, because the AI can actually do a lot more. But if it's not aligned with your intent, that's where you run into trouble, because now you're going to have headaches dealing with the output of AI, right? So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. This I already talked about. Private equity is already buying businesses, like small businesses, to run AI on labor-heavy parts. That's already happening. Okay. So there are, you know, these guys, in just the last few days, have been talking about AI sovereignty, which is really, really interesting. And to summarize what I mean by that, your knowledge as a company is your sovereignty. And losing it to anyone else will hollow out your company and what you know. And what this means is, and this has been documented, is the idea that when you use AI, the frontier labs like Anthropic and OpenAI and Google are learning what you do in your business and how you do it from what you're typing in, because that is literally the data, right? For a small business, maybe it doesn't matter so much. But if you have private data or if you have proprietary information, you got to be mindful about this. This is a big deal. Like, what are you typing in? Are you providing exactly how your business works, your proprietary information in there? Did you check, when you deal with Claude or ChatGPT, did you go into the settings and check the box off that says, hey, you can train on whatever we are typing in, right? If you don't uncheck that option, they will train their next model on whatever you're doing, and then the next model can do what you did, but for free in their subscription. And this has happened a lot, right? So for example, Anthropic had a customer called Figma. Anyone heard of Figma? It's a design tool, right? And Figma heavily used Anthropic's models to do all its work. And suddenly, Anthropic came out with Claude Design, which kind of, if you're like me, I don't need Figma anymore because I could just tell Claude to do all this design work. Where did they get all this information? And so there's lawsuits right now. There's a lot of controversy, but people expect that it's because Claude was trained on Figma's data, without Figma's knowledge, right? So there's that reality you got to keep in mind. There's a phrase that comes to mind. It's called zero data retention, which is basically saying whatever you type or whatever you use with these AI tools, all of your data is never retained when you use their models, right? So Anthropic will promise they will not save your information, analyze it in any way, or train their next model on it, or improve their product based on your work. Zero data retention. But when you use zero data retention, the price of usage just spikes up like 10x, 20x, right? And so something to keep in mind. There's a, this is where open source models come into play. So OpenAI, Anthropic, they're all closed source. Everything they're learning, they're going to benefit from it, not you necessarily, except for in this one moment where you're working with it. So in fact, yesterday, people noticed, so Grok, xAI's newest model, and if you use Grok's harness called Grok Build, so Grok has its own harness and Grok is the model, people discovered yesterday that Grok was uploading people's private code repositories to their servers without permission or knowledge for training purposes. Like, what the heck? So that's happening. It's out there, and I think the industry is moving towards open source models. So you'll see, like, in 6 months to a year, you'll have a ton of open source options that are cheaper, freer, and they don't retain your data or learn from you. They just provide you the AI as a service kind of thing, right? So that's where the industry is heading. Okay. All right. Data centers, people have heard about it. Data centers are bad, data centers are good. So what's happening is AI models are getting very efficient, so it takes less energy to do the work that, that your tool might do. So what took 10 units of energy a year ago takes half a unit now. Right, so tools are getting cheaper. The tokens you're using, they're getting really cheap as well. But because things are getting cheap, more people use it more and more. So overall, the consumption's rising. So I just wanted to name that, the frustration with data centers is totally there. And mainly what the big frustration is that the communities might be paying the cost in some ways, but they're not capturing any upside benefits, right? Like, so they're not part of the AI, they don't own the stocks of the company whose data center is running there, right? So that's like the biggest grief people have. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So I want to actually go back to this. See, I have that picture somewhere. So, in this picture, a lot of us are struggling with the input-output of the models, or we don't know exactly how to use it. And that's where the training related to harness, how to use agents, how to set up the models to actually use it properly, despite what they say out there, is crucial right now. This is like one of the most crucial things. And going back to this slide, I just want to pitch Full Stack Human here. This is my startup, and we do training on actually how to use AI to benefit your business, how to set up your harnesses, how to do the prompting correctly to benefit from it. So if you want to take a picture of this, it will actually take you to the website. Sign up for that email list. That's going to be like the quickest way. August is where when I'm gonna run the first local course at Starting Block. It's gonna be in the evenings. The dates are not fixed yet, but it's probably gonna be second or third week of August. You definitely wanna join that one. And that's where what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at actual use cases with build a automated workflow with AI, make the harness work for you, for your use case, for your business, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so you definitely want to do that. And after that, after you've gotten the picture of this thing, if you have any questions, I'm open for questions. I can also go into a little bit of, prompting basics just a little bit, just to point out like where the frustrations are. Do we have time for that, just for a little bit, or?
We can have about 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Yeah, I'll do like a quick 3-4 minute tour, and I think that'll just kind of give you an idea of how I deal with it. and then we can talk later offline about it too.
Was this session 6 to 8?
6 to 7.
And then and then we're gonna an hour.
Keep it 2 hours.
It was marketed as 6 to 8.
It was.
It was?
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
It's okay, yeah. I'm glad it's only an hour. I'm glad it's only an hour.
yeah, the kids are like done.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So we'll just do a quick talk about this, just to show you where things are. So I just want to show you something really quick regarding how prompts work, right? So for example, let me just, this is my talk Mac, but this is my internal talk Mac. If you're interested in this like details all the thinking behind the slides you saw, and it just creates a comprehensive picture. If you sign up, I'm going to send you this, just so you know. So what I want to show you is that there's many versions of this that I had to go through today. And only the last one was where I was not getting something what I call cognitive fatigue. So let's just read this first paragraph. This is a map. Each module below stands on its own. Any module can lead, follow, or get skipped, depending on the room. This was like me prepping for my talk. The sections at the end work the same way. Modules are broken into smaller, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's kind of like, let's go to the first iteration, see what that is. This is a map, not a script, not a sequence. Each module below stands on its own. Any module can follow. So some of you might notice this. Certain models tend to do this. It's X, it's not that. It's this, it's not that. You know, you'll see a lot of that. In fact, if I search for the word not, I will find it exists 28 times in this little document. You know, just that's not a sign anyone in the room is behind. You know, or not because, or not technology itself, you know, and there's, so this is one of the patterns that you'll notice when you use AI a lot. This is just one of them. There's a lot more, you know, so one of the things, let me show this to you as a quick preview. Don't worry about the code stuff in here. I'm just going to show you a little thing here in terms of fatigue follow-up. So what happened was when I was working with Claude, you know, I identified why I was getting very frustrated every time I worked with it for like 10 minutes, and I see its output. It does a lot of things, you know. So it breaks the rules of the things that I told it not to do. It will, let's see if I can find the what research ads in here. Yeah. So .cloud rules, AI issues. Okay. So these are the things AI will do without you realizing if you're not careful. And this is actually based on real science. Like they have done research on why AI frustrates people. One thing they do is what's called layer collapse, which is, you know, they will take your multiple ideas and nuances and collapse it into fancy sounding phrases. And then you think you have something, but you don't. You just lost the details. You know, the other thing they do is abstraction inflation. So ideas, thoughts, lived observations from original sources, let's say you're summarizing or it's your own words, right? Or from the user get replaced by more strategic and authority sounding phrases. This gets worse as every time you talk and you go back and forth with an LLM, this will get worse, right? So, and then what it's gonna do is too many it's gonna create its own world of categories and systems and what that's called taxonomy. And in its own head it makes sense, but here it doesn't. This can frustrate you. So if you ask it to write something like a copy of your sales letter, by the time you read it, you're like, this is not me. This doesn't make sense, right? It's, you know, so this is, so these are all literature supported. There's actual studies done on how this happens. So this is one of them. It also distorts languages. It will alter the voice and tone of your writing. It will consistently alter the intended meaning. You can't really necessarily point to it, but you know something is off in what the AI generated, right? Yeah.
So then I imagine if you know the tendencies of AI,
Yeah.
you can prompt or harness in a certain way to target these
Yes.
tendencies.
Here's the tip, though. If you tell it not to do these things, and these are exactly the things I think you were pointing to. So all the things that I just mentioned, these are the things that can frustrate people. If you tell it not to do this, don't use not phrasing, don't use this, don't collapse like 30 things into like fancy sounding phrases that I don't understand. It's like LinkedIn or consultant speak. Don't do that. If you tell it, it'll still do it. It will still do it. Where's the problem? The problem is that AI doesn't respond well to not phrasing. So if you tell it not to do things, it doesn't work necessarily. So then the creative challenge is, what do you tell it so that it doesn't, it's like a cat. If you punish it, it doesn't solve the cat behavior problem, right? You have to reward it in some ways, right? So this is like, we spent like 4 days in a workshop in Memphis around this.
I love
Yeah.
that you added more. I took a photo because I have this document that I just call it like consent, like
Yeah.
like consent, and I'll say, but I don't have not in it. I don't remember how I have it listed.
Right.
Yeah, and I keep adding to it, and that's always one document that it has to have that.
Yeah.
Add more.
There's many tricks to this trade. The problem is this. What's the tricks that work for Opus 4.8 don't necessarily work for Fable 5. So now you, over time, through your frustration, come up with something that works with Fable 5, but then it won't work with Fable 5.1, or who knows, right? So that's kind of like a never-ending battle. And there's a phrase for that. It's called cognitive fatigue and cognitive fragmentation. We all go through it. And what they've found is people become less productive, they're very frustrated, and they're not really doing what they wanted to do in the first place. This is like a huge thing. So there are new models coming out that address this. We're not there yet. The main models like Fable or 5.6, 5.6 is better, are not there yet, because their goal is not to make you feel good about it. Their goal is to have you use more of their tokens, right? So it's a different incentive lineup. So, so that's another thing. I actually had Fable look at all my history of this frustration to figure out, like, okay, given positive framing, what can I do, right? So I have to very gently guide it to do certain other things so it just doesn't do that, right? You can actually get AI to do that too. That is part of harness and context engineering, right? So that's part of it. Yeah, that's where we are right now, right? Cool. Any other questions? All right, guys, thank you so much for your time and your effort. Find me. You have the QR code. Send me an email. Sign up, and then I'll keep you posted on the newest things that are coming out. Again, in 6 months, these slides will be irrelevant. What I'm talking about might not matter, so also keep that in mind.
The mindset will.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Christopher. Yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming. I appreciate that. Again, we have these meetings monthly. We talk about the science of this as well as the engineering aspects. So when we're talking about language models and understanding it, sometimes we'll dive into understanding a little bit more in depth about what is actually happening on a system level and why they provide the results of why they do, and then provide updates and how to think about this on an engineering scale in a scientific method to enhance the ability to do what you want to do. So we meet up monthly and talk about use cases and everything else. So please consider joining either IEEE or MAD AI and meet up monthly. So thank you so much. And again,